BTS news. The atmosphere of silence suddenly broke out into a wave of unbridled emotion when Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS, did something completely unexpected. The moment took place in the midst of thousands of fans, was broadcast live, and quickly spread like wildfire in the middle of a dry meadow. Even more surprising was the fact that Jimin, his best friend and fellow member of the group, had previously asked that it not be revealed. However, Jungkook chose a different path, one full of courage, honesty, and perhaps a love too deep to hide any longer. The day was supposed to be an ordinary moment, a semi-formal event to commemorate an important milestone in BTS' journey during the military hiatus. The entire army knew that even though the members were serving their country, communication and love for the fans never really broke down. However, no one expected that Jungkook, who has been known to be quiet, mysterious, and secretive about personal matters, would choose that day to turn the worlds of BTS and ARMY upside down at the same time. It all started with a video call that was shown live on the main stage screen, a surprise from the members who could not be physically present. Jimin appeared first, dressed in his military uniform, smiled broadly, and greeted the fans with a soothing voice. However, his eyes seemed to imply something inexplicable in words, yet felt by anyone who had followed them for years. After a few short sentences, Jimin said, "There's something I want to say, but not right now. Maybe someday, when the time is right." He smiled, then added, "And I hope Jungkook won't divulge it just yet." A light laugh rang out, and the moment passed like a quiet evening breeze. However, when Jungkook's turn came, everything changed. With a calm face but eyes full of determination, Jungkook stood in the middle of the virtual stage. His voice sounded clear and steady. He began with a warm greeting, praising the fans for their patience and unquenchable love. But then, all of a sudden, his expression turned more serious. He was silent for a moment, as if looking for the strength to step in the direction he had long considered. "I know Jimin said don't reveal," he said, "but I feel like all of you, the army, deserve to know. Because it's not just about the two of us, it's also about how we got this far." Suddenly, the screen behind him displayed a series of short video clips. Those recordings that no one had seen before. Pieces of the moment between herself and Jimin, laughter, a small fight, crying, calming each other down, and a hug so long that it left anyone watching speechless. One of the clips features Jimin crying backstage, followed by Jungkook hugging him tightly and saying, "I'm staying here, with you." Their voices are clearly recorded. No edits, no background music. It's just raw honesty. Armies all over the world were instantly in uproar. Social media exploded. Trending topics were filled with hashtags like #JungkookReveal, #ProtectJimin, and #TaikukOrjakook as fans began to speculate. What exactly was Jungkook just revealing? Is it about personal relationships? A deep friendship? Or something much more complicated? Not stopping there, Jungkook then said, "What I showed was not to create controversy or make Jimin uncomfortable, but because I want you to know that we, too, are human. We have wounds, we have secrets, we have bonds that sometimes can't be explained in words. And when someone you care about asks to keep it to yourself, sometimes you also have to be honest with yourself." Tears began to be heard from the audience. Even some of the filming crew seemed to wipe away tears. The world seemed to stop spinning as Jungkook continued his words. "I love BTS. I love each member like a brother. But Jimin, he's a light in my dark times. He was the first to know when I lost my way. He stood by my side when I chose to remain silent." The confession shook the virtual universe. ARMY, who has long observed the dynamics of the relationship between BTS members, especially the closeness of Jungkook and Jimin, began to recall past moments that had been taken for granted, gazes that were too long, hugs that were too tight, silences that were full of meaning. Shortly after the broadcast ended, Jimin reportedly contacted Jungkook directly. According to internal sources, they spoke at length, and despite the tension, Jimin eventually forgave Jungkook. "I know he did it out of love," Jimin said in a text message that Big Hit later published. "Sometimes love can't wait. And even though I wanted to keep it to myself, I understand why she chose to reveal it." Jungkook always did. He held back until he could no longer. On the Weverse platform, thousands of ARMY wrote messages of support. Some wrote, "We're not angry, Jimin. We just want you to be happy." Another wrote, "Jungkook, thank you for being honest. We saw you guys. We feel it. We support it." The wave of empathy was so great that the Weverse server was overloaded for several minutes. However, not all reactions were positive. There were also those who questioned Jungkook's decision. Some fans felt that Jimin's privacy should have been more respected, that this kind of disclosure should have been communicated privately first. Jungkook is too impulsive, too emotional, and forgets his public impact as a global idol. In response, Big Hit finally issued an official statement. They stated that both artists are in good shape and have discussed internally. We support their decision to be honest, both with each other and with the fans. BTS is family. And in families, sometimes disagreements are part of the process of understanding and growing up together. However, precisely after the official statement was released, the public mood did not subside. That night, thousands of soldiers around the world held a virtual vigil, a kind of silent but meaningful online gathering, to show support for Jungkook and Jimin. They changed their profile pictures to silhouetted images of two people hugging each other, lit virtual candles, and shared personal stories about how BTS has been a light in their lives. Some fans even wrote an open letter, not only to Jungkook and Jimin, but also to Big Hit, asking that all members be given a safer space to express their emotions, without fear of the impact of the industry or the pressure of public opinion. If BTS teaches us anything, it's the courage to love, to be honest, and to be human. Today, Jungkook only shows that he is still a young boy trying to protect the one most precious thing in his life. Not long ago, one of BTS's documentary crew who had worked closely with the members joined in raising their voices through their social media accounts. He wrote, "What you see today is not a drama, not a media strategy. It is love in its purest and raw form. I've seen how Jimin and Jungkook take care of each other behind the camera, and you guys haven't seen the other half." A few days later, a YouTube video appeared from a former BTS choreographer who said that during their trainee days, Jungkook and Jimin were the two people who most often spent additional training time together, although for different reasons. Jimin because he felt left behind, and Jungkook because he didn't want Jimin to feel alone, he said. It's not just dedication. It's a sacrifice driven by real compassion. Meanwhile, the entertainment journalists began to dig deeper. They re-examined old interview archives, analyzed their gestures in various events, and compared the dynamics between other members. Not a few call this moment an emotional revolution in the world of K-pop idols, because it is rare for a male idol to express the emotional depth of his fellow members publicly, let alone on a global scale. The Western media is not left out either. The New York Times wrote an article titled "The Day Jungkook Broke the Silence," while the BBC reviewed the phenomenon as a cultural shift in emotional openness in Asia. Time magazine called Jungkook a Generation Z icon of emotional courage. On the other hand, many soldiers began to feel the psychological effects of this incident. Some psychologists who are also BTS fans note that the moment became a catalyst for many people to start opening up about their personal relationships, especially about feelings that have been kept tight. There is also a new movement on social media under the hashtag #TellYourJimin, a campaign to get people to share their feelings with the person who once saved them from the dark, be it a friend, relative, or partner. However, behind it all, the big question continues to hang in the air. What exactly does Jimin want to keep? And why does Jungkook feel the time is right to reveal everything?